Gibson, you've got some real explaining to do. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. These scoundrels are trying to hide a signature guitar from us. They released a 1954 Les Paul Custom, which is really cool in itself, as a signature for Jan Akkerman, but without actually making it a signature guitar. Okay, so Jan Akkerman, if you're not familiar, he is like a guitar god of the 70s. He might not be talked about as much as like Slash and these other people who came later, but many guitarists, including Brian May, they really looked up to this guy. I mean, you've heard his song Hocus Pocus with this band Focus. The sheer energy, and he's just a fantastically brilliant guitar player, even doing jazzy stuff. And he got voted the best guitarist of the world back in 1973 by the UK magazine Melody Maker. He is just a huge influence to so many people. So apparently Gibson approached him for his 75th birthday and asked if they could create him a signature guitar. However, we have to put signature guitar in quotation marks because it's not actually like a worldwide release or something they're even advertising. It is being marketed as a unique made-to-measure custom-ordered series. So it appears he's actually put up the money in order to have these things created, and then Gibson is helping him sell it. I don't know, I'm sure it's not the same as me buying a made-to-measure and then selling them like myself. I'm sure there's some sort of a partnership going on here if they're on Gibson's website. But anyways, this is recreating one of his favorite Les Pauls. He's being quoted as saying, "No guitar in the world can beat this black Les Paul Custom." And he used it for the legendary concert and album Live at the Rainbow in 1973. So besides that iconic story, let's learn a little bit about why he likes these black Les Paul Customs so much. So his love for the Les Paul Custom came from seeing Andy Thielman play one. All the way back in the 60s, he was playing in 1957, you know, kind of similar to what we just documented on the show not too long ago. Super, ultra, classy, iconic guitar. So he always thought that was going to be his guitar at the ripe young age of 12. But then he eventually became world famous with just the 2-pickup version, the staple Alnico Customs as they're called, that came out before the 3-pickup variation. But while he was playing with the band Focus, the band's manager offered him this guitar. Well, not being exactly what he wanted, it was close enough. And that wraps up the tale of how he got that, and it just became his favorite guitar. So you can see him play this thing in old music videos. He's also known for another mystery Les Paul that I'm hoping I can get him to chime in a little bit on, because that is the guitar I want to focus my next Guitar of the Stars episode on. So it's a signature, but not a signature, but yes, a signature at the same time. And it's extra sad because we really haven't had any signature 1954 Les Paul Customs done up for anybody. I mean, we technically had the Robbie Krieger LA Woman one, but it was missing the most important part about those things, you know, the staple pickup. This one had the Seymour Duncan mini humbucker. So yeah, that's a cool guitar in its own right, but we need a signature that has the signature part of the 54 Customs. So what they've done here is they created 10 of these things. So ultra highly limited edition run. However, if we zoom in here and look at our specs, nothing is really necessarily that unique on these, except for the fact that Gibson is doing a 54 reissue custom again. For whatever reason, go to Gibson's website, click on Les Paul, or better yet, go to the custom shop even. And you can scroll through this, and they've got just about everything here. It makes no sense why they don't have one of these currently in production when their whole mantra just a few years ago was, let's bring all the models that everybody wants back. There's got to be some reasoning behind it, like did they just forget how to make the Alnico 5 pickups? Do they not want to buy them from Seymour Duncan? Or maybe they just wanted to leave these as made-to-measure style guitars. So you got your staple pickup up here, and then you get the P90 in the bridge. Now, kind of a unique spec to these is the fact that it has a nylon saddle. I don't think the originals had that, but then again, I have not had many of those in my hands. He wanted to make sure that they had the black top hat knobs with the thumb bleeders on it. And now perhaps the it factor of this one. Since everything else about this is just regular 54 reissue custom, to make them all special, they all have a unique song that was one of Jan's favorites. So this one that's in the stock photos is definitely the one I would want in my collection. Hock Pock, everyone's favorite song. No, it's short for Hocus Pocus. But also to make things unique, out of the 10 guitars, they have different variations. We've got the Ebony VOS, so that's just the straight up gloss that has the gunk put on it. You've got just gloss, so you don't have any VOS shenanigans. That's probably the one I would want. And then they also had a Murphy Lab Ultra Light Aged. So it seems the ultralight aged is what Hocus Pocus is, so I guess I'd have to pony up the cash for that. So you can see a little bit of finish checking going on around here, but I guess if you bought one of these, you could always just have a new custom truss rod cover made. But it looks like in stock photo land, our straight up gloss is named Sylvia, and then our VOS is named Janice. Some other ones that were mentioned on his Facebook group page are AQ and QA and Eruption. So now you're probably wondering, how much are these things? Well, unfortunately, it's out of stock. Same thing with the ultralight aged, same thing with the ebony gloss. You are too late. Or what if I told you you're not? So I ran across these because somebody sent me a message on my Facebook page. But no, you gotta go to the Netherlands version of the Gibson website. Accept their conditions and now we see it. So we get €6,899 for the gloss, as well as the VOS, and then your signed one is just a little bit more expensive at $7,399. Apparently, they are all still available. So if you know someone in the Netherlands, you could technically get one of these if you wanted to. So I was trying to be sneaky here, thinking, well, maybe their website isn't configured correctly. Maybe I can still check out and they'll ship it to me in the US. Because I mean, come on, guys, it came from the US and shipped to the Netherlands. Surely it can come back, right? But unfortunately, it looks like you're limited to France or Netherlands. So either of those countries, you're good to go. It kind of gives me flashbacks to the European demo shop, only shipping to the Netherlands and France, which is strange that these guys haven't expanded like those guys have. But here's another cool thing. Up here, it actually says the value added tax of 21% is included in the price. So hey, that means these are really only about €6,000. So when you do the conversion, that's like $6,000. They weren't even really asking a premium for these. I mean, rightfully so. All they really did was change truss rod covers, but it's enough to get excited about because it's a celebrated artist. Why it's not a full-on signature is kind of why I'm making this video. We need more of these things. So this is almost like an underground model that might be highly sung in the future because, it's just a little bit weird, but I'm glad we at least had some sort of a collaboration here. Maybe it came down to terms as to why they ended up doing it like this rather than a full-on international release, or maybe Gibson just didn't think the market was there, but trust me, anything Gibson makes limited edition sells out. But we know that there's 10 of these things being made, so I'm hypothesizing that they did 3 of each variation because the 10th one here I think was a gift to him. It has his initials, JA75, that was his gift. So are there technically 11, or is that considered the 10th, or is it like a prototype? I'm not sure if we'll ever know, but 333 in 1 seems to make sense to me. And Gibson even has a video on their website right here, so you can check it out if you'd like. It's unlisted, so they don't want you to know about it, but I'm telling you about it. Here's your link. But to round this episode out, let's hear a few playing samples of this. So I was hoping I could find some more information out about these, so I visited his Facebook group here. And you can see he shared it a few times, but apparently these might have been available for a while, because the official Gibson video came out about 4 days ago recording this. Also on his Facebook page, it looks like he's been talking about these as far back as May 17th. So I'm not sure if they were on the Gibson website at that point in time or not, but so far it does seem they're still available if you would like one and you have a friend in those 2 countries. Since we've got a little bit of time left today, I've got a few other ones I'd like to share with you. And we'll start with this. From the year 2019, that big year that Gibson came back and started changing everything, is a Gibson Custom Shop 60th Anniversary R9. Okay, so these normally look like this. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the NAMM show display piece that we documented. No, they more so generally look like this. But look at this one. That is not what a reissue is supposed to look like. We're getting Goryo Yuto vibes over here. So apparently this was a made to measure custom order for a dealer, where I'm sure there's probably more of these out there, that they A, changed up our color to blue, B, gave it a really crazy wide flame top, almost verging into quilt territory. That's just how awesome that one is. And then you're going to notice it has black binding on it instead of cream. For whatever reason, Japan signature guitars. They like black binding, they like quilt-like tops, they really like blue. So besides the Goryo Yuto, this really reminds me more so of the TAC Matsumoto signature guitars. Now the pickups in this one have been replaced, but you don't have a pickguard on it, stock. You still get all the fancy case, but look at this! It actually has the COA booklet and the medallion with the fake diamond on the back of it. And get this, the back is a brilliantly dark blue. This is one of the strangest anniversary R9s that we've seen. Will this particular variation become collectible in the future? I don't know. I mean, it's unique. If it showed up and a collector was like, hey, I need to have that, because 2019 is a significant enough of a year, I'm sure that would work out. But the problem is nobody knew these things existed. Well, at least not in America. But that's got a pretty hefty premium on it, and is being offered by Kurosawa Music. Now keep in mind, these were like $6,500 brand new. However, with the custom specs, I mean, maybe it was a little bit more expensive, so it is definitely being sold at a premium. Next up, we have something just on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This has to be the most boringly plain guitar ever, but it's elegant. It's beautiful. It does everything right without being over the top. Kind of reminds me of an ES 175, you know, with the whole sharp Florentine cutaway. But now we have just this nice, beautifully plain maple finish, all plain maple on your top, no super flame figuring or anything, just a little bit of wood grain going on. No pickguard, so it looks extra naked there. Your knobs are super spaced apart, just 2 humbucker pickups. Man, if that just would have had like P90s in here, that would have been even better. But then you look at your fretboard, it's just dot inlays, rosewood, no binding. You flip it over to the back, the fact that we don't have any F-holes means we have to have a back plate for control access. Either that or go Les Paul Supreme style and do a giant output jack. And then your headstock, yeah, ES 135s, they look kind of strange on their headstock, having that logo, but you just have a Gibson silkscreen decal. But if you're looking for something a little bit fancier in this beast, it does have a 3-piece maple neck that's got some decent figuring in it. And technically the body has binding, but that's less so to be fancy and more so just to construct the guitar. And even though it's pretty much the opposite of any guitar I'd ever feature on the show, something about it, very drawling. But hey, what do you know, another one from Japan by Ishibashi Music. And it's being offered at $1,700. And the last one I want to share with you tonight comes in the form of a 61 SG reissue from the year 2007, done up in Heritage Cherry finish. It's just a regular SG, right? They've got some sound treatment on the back of the walls, makes for some interesting photos. And they've branded their photos with FenderFever.com, despite being a Gibson, but you know, what are you gonna do? You name your company something and you can sell whatever you want. But no, it's the wood grain figuring. Do you see what I see here? It's extra fuzzy. It reminds me of like a really nice warm fur coat. So that's why I clicked on this, but then I thought, okay, what year did they say this was? 2007. Now that's a little bit later than the early 2000s would, where you get crazy flame mahogany and quilt mahogany like the Les Paul standards in my collection. You can find some interesting stuff, but this appears to be, you know, one of those, but in SG format. And you can especially tell that right here. I think that's like really wide quilting figuring going on here. This is probably one of those ones that would just look quite exquisite in person. Because let's face it, generally SGs don't get too fancy. When we're talking just a regular SG, most of them are just cherry. So when you find something like this, you have to appreciate it. But that one is in London, in the United Kingdom. We're just having a whole bunch of international stars today. An international episode, guys. And they want a little over $2,000 for it. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.